Yes.
Sir, could I ask a question, sir?
Yes.
Sir, actually, sir, see, 60% of the Muslims voted against partition and 40% voted for partition. Then why did they divide India into Pakistan and India? Secondly, sir, why is the police ineffective in all states, even in Kashmir? Then they bring in the paramilitary, the BSF, the CRPF, then the military, and then more militarization. So I have two suggestions. So if India is to come up, they should introduce the Muslim culture of qawwalis, ghazals, shais and kalmas, the Hindu culture of classical dances, songs and literature in the schools, and the Christians hymns and prayers. And so you said the Muslims and Hindus were divided. So actually in 1897, the Britishers put the Muslims to cut the cows, and then the division took place and they killed Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Thank you, sir.
You have made a long, you said lots of things. You've said lots of things. Yes. Why don't I take all the questions together? Yes. Please, Maulana, bole aap.
I'm Dayanand Desai. My field of work is rural health and environment, especially in tribal area. A suggestion which is badly needed, that rituals of religious activities for some time, maybe 5 years, could be stopped in India, and religion could be restricted to 4 walls, just sex in the house. That will be a very good thing if it is practiced. That will soften all. Isn't it? A suggestion.
Very difficult to do. Yes. Ji.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting up. I'm Farrukh Waris, and I'm looking after a Muslim institution, educational institution in Bombay. I'm not asking you a question, I'm just reflecting on something. Muslim alienation definitely has a class bias too. If you move around in Bombay colleges, which I do, you would find Muslims coming from the upper crust mingling very, very well and becoming almost part and parcel of the lives of the same class Hindus. The divide, the alienation comes when it's a class divide too. Secondly, another observation that regional bonding is very strong all over the country. Even I feel even with us, being a North Indian Muslim, I bond very, very well when it is Lucknow University Alumni Association party, but I feel a total misfit in a Bora household or a say Aga Khani household, because they don't even cook the way I do. I don't appreciate coconut based cooking, and that
I love it.
So I feel that both these things, it's experiential. It's experiential, which I shared with you. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, you are absolutely right. Without being facetious, Akbar Allahabadi wrote a couplet describing exactly what you said. Islam ki azmat ka kya zikr karoon hamdam, council mein bahut sayyad, masjid mein faqat jumman. Now Jumman was a very derogatory term for a low caste weaver. You see, I mean, this Akbar himself being a Sayyid, which is the high caste, he said this is the condition of Muslims in India, that in the Viceroy's Executive Council is filled with Sayyids, and they have asked the Jummans to go and fill up the mosques. Now that phenomena, even though he said it with his tongue firmly in his cheek, is actually true. Now that the elite has been siphoned off, all those people who were populating the mosques are now coming back, and they are becoming more and more visible. In every society, whether Europe or America a little less because the poverty is another dimension altogether, but the poor are always more religious, always more, and therefore the famous expression, this redneck, because he has not been to the proper school, therefore he tends to be a little more racist. He is more resistant to foreigner who will come and take over his job. So in every society, the poorer attach themselves to religion without asking too many questions. And whereas the educated elite makes more adjustments, it reflects upon the entirety of religion as such, of which it is a part. So yes, you're right, there is a class thing, and the class thing will only go away when you see, egalitarianism has its own costs, and we can't say that egalitarianism should not be there, because equality is an ideal, but equality in a society which is stratified 4 different ways, you know. You had the feudal elite, then you had the Macaulay's elite, then you had the caste elite, and all of these, when they give way, then this kind of turbulence will take place. But I'm very sanguine that in the end, the plane will go through, although by that time I may have expired in that plane. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. You know, there's a very interesting opening that gentleman there had given me. Maulana, आप किस दाहिने में जो बैठे हुए हैं? Yeah, you. आपका नाम नहीं?
My name is Vincent D'Souza, sir.
Vincent D'Souza. You know, this cow slaughter is because they were looking for an issue which would be there in perpetuity. Because even the mosque and the temple issue is not, you know, the souffle rises only once. So therefore they've tried to reheat it, it can't be done. So they thought that the cow slaughter would be a good issue. So at one stage, the government asked one Mr. Dharampal, a scholar, a Gandhian scholar, to do research on cow slaughter so that it is definitively established. They thought Dharampal will come out for the holy cow and against the Qasai. Now Dharampal, it turned out, being a Gandhian, he was a serious scholar. So he and Manikam, they went to England and British Museum and wherever, British archives, and they came out with the document, and I have a little quotation from that, which is actually quite remarkable. It answers your question because they found out the following material. Viceroy Lansdowne records the following minute of a meeting on the consequences of the powerful anti-cow slaughter agitation. This is the Viceroy writing to the government. In Ireland, the Home Rule movement became really formidable from the moment when Mr. Parnell's sagacity connected it with the agrarian question. So in India, the unrest and discontent will become infinitely more dangerous now that a common ground, cow protection, has been found, upon which the educated Hindus and ignorant masses can combine. Queen Victoria let the cat out of the bag. Being a very impulsive lady, she wrote a letter which became public. She writes to her Viceroy, I congratulate you for having handled the situation very well. For though, quote, Her Majesty, Queen Victoria, though the Mohammedans' cow killing is made the pretext of the agitation, the agitation, is in fact directed against us who kill far more cows for our army which needs beef. You see, it is amazing because it completely boomeranged on people who wanted this to be a piece of research which would be used communally. It was completely because they gave it to the wrong man. He did this research. He said all the cows was being slaughtered because the Arabs, when they came here, the foreigners came here, they used to eat the goat, they used to eat all, but never cow. Cow was not, it's not there on the thing. It was the troops who came here, who required beef steak. And for them, this wretched thing. And this Queen Victoria's letter is fascinating. It's on the cover of the book. So
So I can give another suggestion.
Let others talk.
Sir, you were saying something. Sir, yes.
So there is a great tradition
Yes.
of Agarkar,
Yes.
of Ranade. I am introducing myself as a Professor Devadatta Tungar, Professor of Economics and writer.
Right.
I want to know if there is any tradition of social and religious reformers in Islam like Ranade, Tilaks, Dayananda Saraswati, even including Savarkar, who was a social reformer.
Yes.
I am not his political anuyayi, but is there any tradition of social reformers in Islam in modern?
It's a very good question actually, because Islam in India burgeoned through the Sufis. It grew in the open marketplace. It grew without any effort on the part of the mullah. But when it became large and expensive, the ulama got a bright idea. But these people are now getting out, they are not on the straight and narrow. They have retained some of the Hindu customs. The Mopila woman wears the tali, which is the Mangal Sutra. There is a lot of Hindu in their traditions. In UP, the marriage takes place Gobar ki lakir, which means cow dung is used to decorate as because it's supposed to be antiseptic. They use the same turmeric, to decorate the house, because again that is also keeps the worms away. They have learnt all this from the Hindu. So Baba, how do you make them pure? So you had this reform movement from the days of Akbar. Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi was a contemporary of Akbar. And then you had, since the Mughal authority then was powerful, he did not prevail. But when the Mughal authority, by the time of the later Mughals, was weak, Shah Waliullah was able to prevail. You see? So the reform movement that you are talking about was in this fashion. In other words, how to bring them into the straight and the narrow, because we are losing them. They must be brought onto the Siratul Mustaqim and not get diverted into Thumri and Thappa and Gujrari, Tori and Sohar, and my God, the Prophet is born. The birth of the Prophet is being celebrated by the poet. What does he say? He says the clouds, the cosmos is in movement because the Prophet is born. The clouds are moving from Kashi to Mathura. Sir, है उठाए हुए गंगा बादल. सर क्या से चला काफी आज काशी से चला जानिबे मथुरा बादल. No, all the symbol is काशी, मथुरा, कृष्णा, वृंदावन. जब तक ब्रज में कन्हैया है, ये खुलने का नहीं है. कसम खाए उठाए हुए गंगा बादल. The poet is celebrating all the elements are together because the Prophet is born. Now, Shah Waliullah says this is nonsense. ये तो शिर्क है, ये तो Islam है नहीं. So that kind of reform movement was there. But no, the reform, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan did come in with a reform movement, but that was actually because he realized that because of Muslim rule and the memory of Muslim rule, Muslims thought that Western education, they were opposed to it, because they'd taken over the reins of kingdom from their king. Bahadur Shah Zafar was a Muslim, after all. So therefore, anything Western was deleterious for their culture.